is it that some people say they can see the spirit world around them, and yet not everybody can see the spirit world around them? Mark Andrews has put this brilliant question to me, and I'm going to tackle it. Let's start with the human ear, for instance. It can only perceive a certain degree of frequency. Some people can hear maybe from 0 to 90 hertz. Other people maybe up to 120 hertz. Maybe some are even higher. And as we age, we lose the ability to be able to hear the higher frequencies. So literally, you could be in a room full of people listening to a sound, and some people would tell you there is no sound there at all because they are not able to perceive it. Us humans don't have the greatest hearing capacity, do we, either? I mean, we know this. We know that animals can hear much greater frequency and a lot more sound than we can, especially if you think of dogs and cats, for example. Similarly, the human eye can only see 0.035% of the electromagnetic spectrum. Some people theorize 0.05%. Doesn't really matter which way you look at it, it's still under 1% of light is available to us. This means that we can't see most of the reality around us. Is it possible that reality in itself could be far greater than we could even perceive or imagine? We're in a multi-dimensional universe, right? A universe that we are told consists of energy, frequency, and waves. So it's crazy, but everybody's walking around experiencing different levels of reality anyway. Think about a colorblind person, for example. They cannot see the color that most of us would take for granted. Colorblind people don't tell us that the color that we say exists doesn't exist. They accept the fact that we're seeing that color, but to their reality, it's not there. So similarly, mediums, people who are sensitive, their nervous system has been wired in a way that predisposes them to be able to perceive a greater reality than most people are perceiving. That doesn't mean that everybody can't learn to perceive it or make their nervous system become more in tune or sensitive to perceive a wider reality. I do believe that there are people born who have a more sensitive nervous system. I mean, we're all beginning to understand what neurodivergence is now, aren't we? That all brains are made slightly different, and that will mean that our experience of reality and the world around us is perceived differently. People that say they've seen the spirit world, they're not deluded. They are experiencing a level of reality that you haven't been able to perceive. Think about this. This is interesting. Trance mediums in Brazil were studied by scientists, and what was really interesting was that their brains were found to be operating in a different way to which most people's brains behave in the waking state. The trance mediums were able to be aware and to operate, to speak and to write, whilst their brain had moved into theta and alpha brainwave patterns. Once again, frequency and waves. They were able to access a different level of reality to most people's ability in waking state. The brain, being an electrical organ, was able to pick up on the electromagnetic field around it, receive information as a conduit, and then translate that information through the medium into a message. So when we see the spirit world around us, we are literally picking up on the energy and the frequency of a consciousness that is there that most people can't see, but it doesn't mean that that intelligence isn't there. And it also doesn't mean because someone's saying they can see it, that they're crazy, deluded, or they've had hallucinations. That's a completely different thing, and it is possible to tell the difference between the two. So really it comes down to understanding who we are, that we are an electrical magnetical being. We are electromagnetic. We are also consciousness. We are energy. We are frequency. We are waves. And I really believe that when it comes to perceiving the spirit world, you do have to believe to perceive. At least you need to have an open mind, right? You have to understand that there could be a whole reality out there yet to be explored that is beyond our perceptions normally, and that you want to be able to sit and explore and develop your human body in a way that may make you more sensitive to exploring a greater reality around us. You know, reality is not what it seems to us. We know that we are atoms. We know that we are told by scientists that we are also mostly empty space. I mean, how mind-blowing is that? We also know we are a collection of trillions of cells, but we don't perceive ourselves in that way, do we? We just can only perceive ourselves as the organic, physical body that we are interacting in this world of matter around us. But we can accept that we are existing at different levels of reality. When mediums or sensitive people talk about being able to perceive a world around them where there are other beings of light, you might not want to be so quick to dismiss them, because maybe, just maybe, they're perceiving something beyond the realms of what your human body can. What do you think? Let me know in the comments. Mark Andrews, thank you so much for engaging with me. There's food for thought.